Hello and welcome back to the Unmastered Podcast with myself, Jarvis.
And me, Darry. How are we?
How are we?
Welcome to the podcast where we're serious about
I was
music.
just about to do that, but not serious about ourselves. Woohoo! Woohoo! We're back.
We have an interesting topic ahead of us today. I think we're gonna clarify some some comments,
Some misdemeanors.
that was made about Jarvis, and I think it's going to be quite a hefty episode.
Maybe. We'll see.
It's very much based around the artist.
Yeah.
Very much based around our opinions, essentially, on what we think an artist is and how we describe and understand what we listen to.
Mm-hmm.
How it makes us feel, how people actually talk about music in real life.
Mm-hmm.
All these little things, and the listener who doesn't really care about theory,
Mm.
whereas that's me, and you're the complete opposite.
Yeah. I would care quite a bit about theory, yeah. Sometimes. Especially in certain bands, yeah.
Two mugs listening along, reviewing music and song, and other stuff. Sláinte!
Let's get into it really quickly. And I know we've just listened to David Bowie on the Reaction channel. If you haven't followed that, go over and follow it.
It won't be up yet.
No, actually, to be fair.
Weeks.
But we've just done it. We've listened to Lux, which is coming up today.
Yeah.
Which today is Sunday when we're recording, so it'll already be up, so go and check it out. And artists that we've really fallen in love with the last couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
And their artistic integrity, I suppose, is a good way to start. Is they feel like there's integrity about them, and they know what they're doing, and they're not doing it for the money or the show. Or, and I think David Bowie's a classic example of that. He was his own man and really made sure that he was noticed, I suppose. Mm-hmm. How would you describe David Bowie?
So, I mean, we described him quite well, I think, in the Overspill, which we'll hoping that you'll watch, obviously, when it's out there. But, he's a comedian, and he didn't stick to regular formulas. He always challenged himself. He always tried new things. Always willing to go the extra mile for his art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the pillar stones, really, of what an artist is someone who's always willing to kind of drive forward and try new things and isn't afraid to step outside their comfort zone and do something new. And I think Bowie exemplifies that really well.
That's one thing we'll agree on.
Yeah.
For now.
For now.
But what I will say is I completely get that. I'm a very new Bowie listener. I've listened to some of the classics, obviously, and only songs, not albums. But when you go into context of what he is artistically, he's the epicenter and the pinnacle of what that means, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got different aspects of like how he brought, we spoke about it, no, it's not even there, I don't know if you can see Igor up the back. He has his own characters and his own alter egos in terms of music, and Bowie does that perfectly.
Well, he would have been the first,
I think that's something you love about his character as well, and how he drives himself. And look, that's obviously
it's evolving.
Yeah, but you're taking a massive risk with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you don't pull that off, you're just a laughing stock, essentially.
You look silly,
you just look like a bollocks. But he's done it to...
Wait for my rap album, guys.
Yeah, well, fuck. what we calling you?
It's always D Drizzle, right? That's always my...
I was going to say Big Jarv.
A Big Jarv, of course you would, yeah. No way. Never heard that one before.
No, that's new. But no, like, I mean, when you're looking at artist integrity and artistic ability, he's the pinnacle of what that means, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And the risks he's taken in his career, and R.I.P. obviously he's not with us anymore, unfortunately, but...
Even in Black Star, his last album.
I don't know it, so I'm looking forward to getting onto it.
It's crazy.
It's fucking,
that's the journey of an album, because I don't know if you know this yet, but he knew he was dying when he was recording that, because he had cancer.
Oh yeah.
So I think it actually only released like a week or two before he died, before he passed away, and a lot of the songs on that album were basically about his coming death. And he knew it. Yeah.
What do you call that again? Because I know
posthumous.
Posthumous, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I couldn't think of the word of it.
But it wasn't post. I think it was released about a week before he died.
Yeah,
but he knew he was dying. Yeah.
That's what I feel like with Mac Miller. Yeah, because it's really, really eerie and like hard to listen to when you listen to Blindrisms. But look.
Same with Elliott Smith in a certain extent. Yeah.
But I think posthumous should mean on the brink of death. Because technically he knew he was dying, and he probably wrote that song as if he was dead, or wrote music in it. And
dying,
that's it's nearly when you know the context, you're going to automatically assume that. But no, look, we'll go back into the main like conversation, and that is artistic integrity, what you believe is artistic and what I believe is artistic.
Well, what is an artist?
What is an artist,
Yeah.
and how would you define them? Because look, we'll just get into what you want to discuss straight away, and I suppose we'll start off with the argument, and then we'll maybe try and have a little bit of reasoning behind it and a conversation. But we made a comment, or we posted a TikTok, and then it didn't receive well. At all.
Put it lightly. Yeah.
I'll let you explain yourself and what happened.
Well, I got labelled as someone who doesn't like women, which I think is a bit silly, but especially because a lot of my favourite artists are women. But I think the main crux of I think the problem really that people were hanging up on was when I used the term artist, because I did kind of play it a little bit for comedic effect, because of course Dari was saying, well, artist, and then I went, oh, hang on a second, does it say artist? And I was like, oh, well, I don't consider her an artist then. You know what I mean?
Who?
So Taylor Swift.
Yeah, well, we hardly knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically the Bully Taylor podcast now.
Yeah, basically, essentially, yeah. Was it Eleanor who's always like, oh, stop talking about Taylor Swift?
Yeah, 100%. But I think at this point it's everybody, and I think this is where the argument's going to come in, because I have a very different view to Jarvis, and I think it might be but the fact that I'm not educated in music that I have a different opinion. But give your opinion.
I don't really think it's got to do with education in music, to be honest, because it's not about the songs she makes that I have a problem with. And this is a conversation we've had before. It's about what she represents, right? And it's the same with Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran's another prime example of someone who I consider similar to Taylor Swift. And it's funny, right? Because I was just going to, before we get into this, bit of a tangent here. It's not just me criticising Taylor Swift, because I actually noticed a video recently of the Needle Drop criticising Taylor Swift for putting up a music to advertise for ICE videos.
And Donald Trump.
Yeah. And it's quite funny as well, because sorry, a bit of a tangent here.
Not like you.
But like his main criticism was that lots of other artists, right, okay, have stood up basically against him and said, you're not allowed to use my music. I think Jack White famously did it. Beyonce's done it loads.
Yeah, I heard that.
And the reason they're doing it is because, they don't agree with his message. Right? They don't agree with what he represents as a presidential leader. Right?
Dictator.
Okay. Dictator, yeah, call it what you want to call it. Right? But they don't agree with him. Right? So for that reason, it's absolutely in their right as artists to say, well, this doesn't resonate with my message and what I'm trying to say. So you are, in a sense, tainting my message. You are bastardizing what my art is for.
Yeah. Therefore,
get rid of it. Stop using my music to campaign for that. And Taylor Swift's been relatively silent on the whole situation, and he's still using her music to pump out like adverts for things. And he was like, oh, it's really bad because it doesn't look good for her as an artist and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, but that is what brands do, because what they do is they figure out where their market is, their market share. And obviously, if they see that it's not going to look good for their profit at the end of the day to remove certain things from adverts, well, then they're not going to do it, are they?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like recently with Spotify. Spotify's got more heat recently because they've been putting up adverts for, I think, for similar things, actually.
Well, Danny Eck, who's the CEO of Spotify, was pumped in a load of money into weaponry and
drones
and stuff like that, which didn't sit well with a lot of people, and me for one.
Yeah,
I watched
absolutely.
It.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it, and that's probably the main reason why this podcast isn't on Spotify.
Well, Tig, actually, a friend of ours on the podcast, he was on a video. It was a very good video. Didn't get enough love, but it was a good video. Botify, because he was having problems with bots ruining his figures.
His channel music and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it was nearly taken down.
Pearl adjacent, if you want to go.
He's just recently releasing a new album, actually.
Oh, has he?
So go ahead and look it up. I forgot what it's called. I am going to listen to it, though.
Pearl adjacent.
Pearl adjacent, yeah. But he was... he actually sent me a video of that, of the whole thing. Is 600 million, I think it is, he's put into drones.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Which is crazy. But again, like, just coming back to Taylor Swift for a second, obviously she would have seen that, Donald Trump doing whatever he's doing, and she would have gone, oh, okay, I should take this off because it doesn't represent me. And then she would have gone, oh, hang on a second, 50% of my listening base is Republican.
That's exactly it.
So why would I take this off? Because it doesn't matter if it doesn't represent me, because at the end of the day, I'm not an artist, I'm a brand, and I'm trying to keep my profit the way it's supposed to be. So that's, at the end of the day, that's how I view Taylor Swift. And I view her the same as Ed Sheeran. I think Ed Sheeran would do the same. Although I feel like, no, I take that back. I feel like Ed Sheeran has a little bit more integrity than Taylor Swift.
I was going to say, there was nearly 2 reasons to argue there.
Yeah.
And you just took away one. So
okay, good, right. We're on the same level now, right? Okay.
Well, no.
No, okay, right. You come forward.
I think your opinion on that is skewed in my sense because, like, ideally, and me being the business-minded person, what I want and what our goal is to be financially stable.
Yeah.
Now, selling out is not what I would like to do. I wouldn't like to go and sell out. And again, if you bring up Donald Trump and he has our music or my music or your music or our podcast, whatever, anything like that, showing in visuals to brand him and to help his cause agenda, or fight or his agenda, then that's where I draw the line. I'll say, get that the fuck off your screen.
I think, to be honest, politics in music, just full stop, I would just be like,
Yeah, you don't need to get involved. I mean, even look at Radiohead, when you look at that point where Tom York said something and everybody blew up about it because of Palestine and yada, yada, yada. And I mean, it's not, whatever he said. I don't know. I didn't listen. I still don't know what he said and I really don't care.
Yeah. Because
I'm not politically involved in anything. Even, like, if anything, we should be fucking rioting in Ireland. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking gone to hell. But, like, it's just not where I am.
There already is riots in Ireland.
But if we're going back to Taylor Swift again, I think because the reason I think you're wrong in what you're saying is because right, okay, take the artist side of things out of things. She's a brand, but so is Two Mugs. And so is what we would be when we're Shed Project. Like, we're branding, everything is branding. Like, you're trying to build a brand to elevate everything in your life in terms of income, in terms of popularity, in terms of shares and streams and yada yada yada. The fact that she creates her own music, sings her own music, performs her own music, and look, probably doesn't do it all, but does the majority of it, and makes her an artistic brand.
Right. Okay. So this is the same argument I've seen on TikTok, right? Because some of the people commented, calling me mean names. Right. Okay. But
I listen.
I don't take it to heart.
I don't think you're a misogynist.
Oh, I know I'm not.
I know you're not. But I also do think by calling her an artist, you probably did deserve a little bit of heat for it, because I think it's probably...
Let me walk back a second.
No,
come on, right? So you mentioned there, she writes her own music, she plays her own songs, she sings, writes lyrics, whatever, you know? So surely she should be an artist. I've seen a lot of people comment the same thing. My argument is you can be all 3 of those things, and you can be a DJ, and you can be a producer, and you can be all sorts of different things. Doesn't necessarily make you an artist, okay? That's my perspective. And that's because I think an artist is deeper than that, right? So I've thought about this quite a bit, right? Okay, because I can tell. Yeah, because I was a bit confused by it about it, because I was like, what are people going on about? Because my perception of what I said was fine, but obviously to other people's it wasn't, and that's because I feel like they don't know what I mean.
Yeah.
So for me, an artist, right, has to meet 3 kind of fundamental points, right? And Bowie meets all of them.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, and a lot of our favourite artists do as well. So first one for me would be staying true to yourself.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so artists have a hard time bending towards other people's wills. They want to do what they want to do, okay? And if you constrict that, or you tell them they can't do that, then they're going to get uncomfortable about it, okay? That's the first step, right? And you see that a lot of the times with artists where they kind of refuse to be confined into a pigeonhole because they want to be themselves, right? Integrity, let's call it that, right? Second, ambition, right? A lot of the time artists are ambitious. They're always trying to expand what they know, learn new things, try new things, develop themselves as artists, okay? They're not just going to stagnate and do the same thing over and over and over again just because it works. They're always going to try new things. Bowie's a prime example of that, okay? Radiohead, St. Vincent, Tyler even, you know? Fontaines even, you know what I mean? Like, everyone pretty much here, Airplay Fire. Like, they're always trying new things and trying to develop themselves and not just sticking down to what works with a formula and going, oh, that works, that makes money, therefore let's just keep doing the same thing. Okay. Third thing would be intention. Okay. So what does your art mean? Like, does it mean something to you? Does it mean something to the world? Are you trying to convey a message to people? Are you trying to say something spiritual? Are you trying to say something psychological? Like, what does your music mean? If it just means target audience, that's too shallow. That's not an intention, you know? Like, it has to mean something not super deep. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I spent 15 years thinking about the allegory of the cave by Plato, and this is my new album. You know, it doesn't have to be that deep, but it has to mean something to you, and it has to be something that you're trying to say to people. We've had this conversation before about making music.
Yeah.
And I said to you, I was like, I'm not going to make an album with you unless we come up with a concept that I like.
Yeah.
And we did. And so obviously we're going to make an album about that.
Yeah.
So, and that's to me what an artist is. It has to have intention, like I just said, ambition, and they have to be true to themselves. I don't see a lot of that in Taylor Swift.
Now, right, okay, this is where, like, you can take all that into context, and I completely understand where you're coming from, apart from the fact that I don't. Do you know what I mean, though?
Right.
But I can see exactly where you're lining up there, and I know exactly why you're saying what you're saying. And intentions, integrity, like having everything, ambition, everything like that. If you're not doing that, like Taylor Swift, who she is now, I feel personally almost just rocketed to this fame of there's never an opportunity not to be a brand anymore. She can no longer not be a brand because it's where it's not her fault that the amount of people that love her. And when she's sitting there as a brand, like intentionally, maybe toward the start of her career, she probably didn't intend to have this massive brand and this ego and this name around her. But the fact that she's sitting there now on this benchmark where she is the best in the world and she is the most loved in the world and she is producing the best songs in the world even though she's not, I still think that not calling her an artist is probably biased to what you love and your favourite artists.
I thought about that as well. Right, okay.
I have another answer for you.
I don't doubt for 1 second that Taylor Swift may have been an artist at one point.
Yeah.
I believe in my heart that if I listen to...
You have a heart?
I have a heart, apparently. A misogynistic one.
Yeah,
but
Jesus Christ.
But I believe at one point in her career, she stopped being an artist. I can imagine, because I've already said this to you, I'd really like to do a video myself, just doing all of Taylor Swift's albums and discussing it.
I'd be so funny if you happen to just love them.
Well, I would be honest about it if I did, right? Okay, and that'd be fine. But like, I mean, I've listened to Folklore, for example, and read and Folklore's okay. I'm going back to my original. Okay, and Red's okay. It's average. It's like just pretty
mediocre
good pop music. You know what I mean? Like, but I imagine if you look back at her earlier stuff, the first 2, 3, maybe even 4 albums, you'll probably find an artist there.
This is where I sit, right? And then I'm like that now, where I see...
Same with Ed Sheeran.
But Ed Sheeran, I think, a lot less than Taylor Swift. I think Ed Sheeran, I feel like the way he is now, he's more out there to help people than help himself. And I think his intentions are, like, he's lost the love for music. Yeah. He doesn't love it as much as he used to. And that'll probably happen to you when you're fucking selling out gigs for the last 20 years. Like.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But like with Taylor Swift, and we're talking about that scenario, and we're talking about how much she's gone. I completely agree with you where you say that she was an artist and she started off as an artist because everybody does, and she was nobody until she was somebody. But the fact that we as a collective, and not me and you, but like as humans, we put her in where she is. This was our choice. Well, obviously the people that love her.
Yeah.
She's got the biggest and she sells out the most. Like, you can't... I personally think you can't criticize a woman that was put there by other people. It's like if by right she wanted to be the artist she was, like if this happened to me and you, for instance, and just put it in the story, if we're out and we become the most famous band in the world, like we won't have a choice. Like if we automatically become the best band, like we won't have a choice if that many people love us, and we can choose to not become a brand.
No,
but
you can.
But I just feel like when you're there and you're in that moment, how do you stop that much love and respect from people? And I know you're going to say, like, right, don't sell out.
It's not. I think it's more than that, but yeah.
I know, and I'm going to say it now. Don't sell out. Don't keep on doing the same thing you're doing just because it works and whatever else. Don't just try and be a bit more fucking.
Don't forget yourself.
Risky. Don't forget who you are. But I think in like folk rock or rock band or an indie rock band, that's easy because it's not that big compared to when you're in the, like, any of the bad pop people are still bigger than any of the really good indie people.
Yeah, but
that's the problem.
But you could put that argument against so many other artists that are still true to themselves. I mean, like Tyler, for example.
Yeah, but Tyler's not massive.
He is big.
He is big. Don't get me wrong, but like the likes of Taylor Swift,
Kanye, not Kanye, sorry, Kendrick's one, I'd say.
Kendrick as well, but I don't think he's loved in his circle as well.
He's massive.
He's massive in his circle.
Right.
I think Taylor Swift, it comes across, like, even if, like, people that like rock music like Taylor Swift, people that like rap music like Taylor Swift, people that like indie folk music like Taylor Swift, like me and you, we're in a genre. We love certain aspects of music that are more playful and more entertaining and more colourful and more flamboyant and out there and interesting and lyrically dense and like whatever about it. Taylor Swift's music is boring. It's monotonous. It's the same. It's 4 chords. It's the same bullshit constantly all the time. Melodies are nearly always the same in every song. The fact that she was put in the position she's put in is the reason I think she can only be classified as an artist. I get where you come from. She is a brand now.
Yeah.
But she maybe was and is still an artist.
I thought about the question you proposed to me the first time around, and I thought, how would I say yes to it, right? So your no, honestly, right? So you said the first question you asked me was, and I think it was something like, who is the most relevant artist in the last 20 years, okay? And you said Taylor Swift, and I disagreed with you.
Yeah.
Okay? If you'd have said, who is the most relevant businesswoman in the last 20 years, and you said Taylor Swift, I'd have shook your hand.
Yeah, but like there's two very different outlooks in this. Like, I don't think either of us are wrong, but I also think the reason that the comment section took the turn it did is because you refused to admit that she was an artist or is an artist. Is an artist. Like, I mean, that's the big difference, because technically she is, and regardless of your bias against her or the fact that she's just now become a like extremely good at like marketing.
I don't think it's a bias against her necessarily. I think it's a bias about music. Yeah. Like, I'm very passionate about music, as you know, as everyone watching knows, right? Okay, and I really like people who are artists, and for me, an artist isn't just a simple word. Like you said, like if we bring it back a little bit, where you said, oh, you know, play guitar, sing, whatever, they're an artist. You could play guitar and sing and just write a song for no reason, and you're not an artist. For me, you're a guitarist and you're a singer, and you're probably very good, but you're not an artist, right? Okay, like, it needs to be deeper than that. Like, if you come to me and you said, Jarvis, I wrote this song, okay, I'm playing this particular chord because I feel like it works with this certain emotion that I'm trying to work on. I played it in this key because I've heard that this key is blah 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 blah. I put it in this time signature because it's maybe it's 7/4/8, for example, right? And that's my breathing pattern when I'm anxious, and I feel like that really works with me. And also I've wrote these lyrics in the style of this and this because I feel like it resonates with this message that I'm trying to put forward. How does this sound? If it's shit, I still think you're an artist, because I'm like, you've clearly thought about what you're doing. You've clearly tried your best to put forward how you're feeling into a song. And even if the song's a 1 out of 10, even though I don't like your art, you're still an artist to me. And then if someone came up to me later and was like, Joe, I wrote a new song, it's great, and then they play just basic generic chords that they've obviously ripped off from Oasis, and then they sing some lyrics that don't mean anything, but they rhyme, and then they have a nice melody in the chorus, and say, what do you think? I'll probably go, that sounds quite good, but are you an artist? You know what I mean? Like,
I think there's such a literal sense to the term. Like, regardless to what way I look at it, I don't think, because you've got this massive impact in music and it impacts you so emotionally, I think for me, because I'm not that it's not as impactful, I love it and I love everything about music and I love the fact that we're doing this and everything like that. But is it really that person's fault? I don't think so. Do we start blaming music fans at this point? Because we don't
have to blame music fans.
You can't just change what an artist means just because of your own personal insight.
Well, I'm not changing it. Like,
I'm not,
I'm not, because I've always said from the start, this is my interpretation of what an artist is, right?
But you can't just change the physical.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you have to take my version of an artist. I'm not even saying everyone watching needs to take my version of an artist. You don't have to. If you believe an artist is someone who can play guitar, that's fine. That's not me, though. I don't consider that an artist. It needs to be something deeper than that.
Okay.
Like, it's subjective at the end of the day. Art as a whole is subjective, okay? It means something completely different to something else. Someone can listen to drone music for 15 hours and think it's the most powerful thing in the world. I could stick it on and think it's quite nice to meditate to, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, it's completely different. But to me, I think an artist is that, and that's what I look for.
That's fair. Look, again, if you explain it like that, then there's nothing I can say then that it'll make a difference. But no, genuinely, there's not.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it like that, and I look at it the way I look at it, is where you like there's a definition to the word artist, and that's someone that creates art, regardless if it's.
Is it?
Yeah, but well, what is it? But that's your opinion, though.
Is that a definition of artist? Should we look it up?
Well, look it up. No, do look it up. Look it up
Should
and
we
see.
look it up?
Because in my context of an artist, it's someone who creates art.
Yeah.
Whether it be music, if it's someone that writes a book or writes a poem, or if it's someone that plays a violin, or if it's someone that draws pictures, or anything like that. What is an artist? And that's what I'd say is someone that creates and expresses art.
Yeah.
In art form.
There's two different definitions we've got here. I prefer the AI one, but we'll go with the dictionary version.
Yeah.
A person who creates paintings or drawings as profession or hobby, but obviously it's also music.
Broad.
A person who habitually practices a specified reprehensible activity.
Yeah.
A con artist is what that is. But the AI thing says an artist is someone who uses skill, creativity, and imagination to create art, which I'd feel more in line with.
Yeah, but I don't disagree with that, but I feel like in any sense of the word, if you're creative, I don't think that somebody, right, personally, who does covers of music, I wouldn't classify them as an artist. I classify them as a musician.
Okay. Why?
Because they didn't create the art. They're doing covers.
But they're playing guitar.
Yeah,
and
but
singing.
but they're musicians. They're not artists.
So what's different about that then?
Because I think the artistic thing is that they created it. So someone like Taylor Swift who creates her own music is an artist. Someone that plays chords that, like you said, Oasis and Planet of themselves. I agree with that part because they are not creating the art. They've just taken the art and
they have. I didn't say they haven't created something. I've said they've been influenced a lot by it. You know what I mean?
Well, then they are. But like someone for me that makes covers of music and plays an Ed Sheeran song is not an artist. I think they're a musician. I think someone like you or me that writes lyrics or writes chord progressions or whatever it is, then we're both artists.
Arseholes.
But when you perform your own music, you write your own songs, you layer it, you play it, you produce it, then recording this is artistic. We're recording at this moment. I think that's art.
Well, there's lots of different, absolutely. There's lots of different things that are artists. There's cinematography, there's painters, there's sculptures, there's dancers, actors. Like all these people are artists, but like, again, if you take that thing, right? Let's imagine a painter instead, right? So let's imagine someone picks up a red brush, okay? Paints something on it, right, okay? And they go, that looks cool. And then they say, I'm an artist. Versus someone who goes, I'm using this specific colour because I feel like it represents this. And my message in this painting is this. And also, I've named it this because it's specific to something. And this is the emotion that I want it to convey. That's an artist.
Yeah.
It's not someone who just picks up a brush.
Well, but like I think you can obviously because that's what you're doing. But I don't think you can just take the term and then change it to what suits you because of your ideology.
Right.
I just don't think that's the thing you can do. For me, what is it then? Like, you can classify something as something. There's fine art and art. And then if you want to classify what you classify as art, it's fine art because there's fine, like everyone, it's up a pedigree. Whereas what I define as art is artistic and people are using whatever their, I suppose, chosen
artistic
art
mode is.
Yeah, but so there's what you enjoy, and a lot of the time it's all that experimental fine art music and more intense, well written, I suppose lesser liked kind of music. Whereas maybe Taylor Swift isn't fine art; she's just an artist. And then there's fine art. And not just the fact that you can't define someone as something because you decide they can't. That's not it.
That's my opinion, though. She's a businesswoman.
It is. I know, and I disagree with what you're saying, but I don't agree. I agree with what you are trying to convey, and I understand where you're coming from. But I don't agree with the fact that you're.
This is sounded a lot like, when someone says, It's like, I understand why you think I should be sorry.
Yeah, literally, yeah. But again, let's take it to this then, right? Okay, well, regardless of that, because that's not going to get finished. We're just going to go around in circles.
Right, we'll agree to disagree. Handshake, yeah. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Now, I'm going to say this. I do understand where you're coming from. And again, because you're that pedigree higher in music than I am, I don't see it as that, but I understand why you'd see something as fine art and art, or artistic integrity, or artistry in itself needs to be a certain standard, because you need them standards to be even happy with yourself. Whereas with me, Like, I can sing in the bathroom and be delighted with myself. Well,
Yeah.
not all the time, but sometimes.
Yeah.
The fuck's that? But no, look, let's take it here. Let's take it here instead. So, I just want to double check, and I said it already. Are fans ruin the music then? Like, are they ruining the music experience? Because I feel personally that there's music out there that needs to be shared more. And I feel like the likes of Taylor Swift, because she is who she is now, completely overshadows all of that.
Oversaturated, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that, and you can see it when she was on the Graham Norton show, and he was plugging someone else's TV program or movie or whatever it was, song even. Oh, it was Lewis Capaldi actually.
Okay.
And then she was sitting there looking, and she goes, "Thanks for that, Graham," because she was plugging hers, and then Graham, Lewis Capaldi turns around and he goes, "Oh fuck."
Yeah.
Oh, I was told I wasn't allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Graham.
Well,
so that's pisses me off about her.
That reminds me of something actually. She I think she withheld the release of one of her albums because she knew that someone else was releasing an album. I don't remember who it was. It was another pop artist, and she intentionally released it on the same day.
Yeah.
So that they get overshadowed.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what a business would do.
Yeah, but like I agree. Like I'm not disagreeing with you. Like what you're doing is you're changing the term.
I'm making a very strong case.
Yeah, you're making you're making a case for something that I just physically I don't feel like I can agree with because it's, in my opinion, bias.
Right.
To art. You're biased to what you think art is.
Okay.
And your opinion of fine art and medium art or whatever you want to call it. I don't fucking know. I don't know the language. But in that sense then, our fans ruining the music experience then, because you've got people who are fucking head over heels with Taylor Swift, who, in my opinion, probably doesn't deserve all the love she gets. Whereas people that probably deserve a lot more aren't able to get out of the charts or aren't even able to release their own music.
Yeah. Are fans ruining the music? I mean, I don't know if
I think so.
Do you reckon, yeah?
I think, but like... I think so because people, like, there's a lot more people around, like, that don't care about music that listen to it than do care about music and listen to it, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah.
So you've got the people that are listening to music and
it's a commodity.
Yeah, it's a commodity. It's something that's there. It's free on Spotify. It's accessible. It's always going to be there, no matter what you do. Like, if you look back in the day, we could have went, me and you, right now, could go down and buy a CD and not know what the songs are on it.
Yeah.
And go and listen to it and
just
bring
like
it back
the
here.
Artwork,
And what we're doing now, reacting to music, what I'm doing, is basically what every single human did 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Because they had to. They had no other choice in the matter.
Yeah. They just heard that this new person released an album and they liked the artwork and they bought it.
Yeah. And that's it. And that's what I'm doing.
Took it home and realised it was The Cure and were disappointed.
Yeah. Disintegration.
And then they were like, oh, I have to like it. I bought it.
Playing Frisbee with the CD. Fuck that. But, like, that's what I think. Like, I mean... You don't have that option anymore. There'd be a lot less music listened to if people had to go and buy it.
So you're talking about streaming, essentially.
Well, like streaming,
right?
yeah, but like also people, like there's people out there wearing Nirvana t-shirts that don't know who Nirvana is. You know, that kind of that shit where you're sitting in a scenario where people love music and then people that love music are known as weirdos or freaks because they like a certain genre. And I was fucking told that by my brothers when I was younger because I listened to certain weird music. But because they liked fucking David Guetta or Tiesto or fucking someone stupid like that, well, I don't mean they're stupid, but like not my thing. It's like you become the freak. Then you're not the real person. And I'm not that big up in the music scene, but I know what I love and I love what I want, and that's the big difference. And I think fans are ruining that experience for other people because they're using the accessibility of the music, like you've got Somber, who's released and it has billions of streams. Billions.
Who's Somber?
Do you know... Oh, I can't remember the song now. I know, I'll get it in a second, but you know when you hear it. I had a dream, I saw it better. Da-da-da-da-da-da, see you in the center. Looking at you, and you're looking at me. No. Oh, Christ. Why'd you tell me to go on for that long?
I wanted to see if I'd recognise it at some point.
But no, Somber is, he's a young artist, only after recently coming out there, probably in the last year and a half or so. And one of his songs, I think that's the one, has billions of streams on Spotify.
Yeah.
And look, don't get me wrong, it's a good song, but it's not amazing and does not deserve that many views.
Yeah, but this is the thing that happened in university and stuff, like when we were learning about different styles of music and different ways of writing and stuff. Our brains as humans, right? Okay, we wanna find patterns in music. Like that's something that is satisfying to us. So if we're listening to a song, right, and we can hear a drum build, and we're like, oh, here comes the drop, and a drop happens. It releases dopamine in our heads, and we go, oh, and it satisfies us, and it makes us want to dance, right? And that's what a lot of pop music is. It's a trick. That's why the whole 4-chord formula thing works, because it's not about being not adventurous. It's not about just not willing to try new things. It's not about that at all. What it is a formula, right? Okay, and if we know the formula, our brain instantly recognizes it and instantly makes us comfortable with it, and instantly makes us want to dance to it and enjoy it, right? It's a trick, right? So then when you listen to something that's less predictable, like for example has a weird time signature, or has strange chords in it, or has drops where you're not expecting drops, for example, well then it's harder to understand because our brain's not predicting it, right? And there's all sorts of things like that. For example, like the millennial whoop. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before. Have you ever heard the millennial whoop? Whoop, whoop. No, so it's ooh-ah, like that, right? Okay, it's super famous, especially in like the early 2000s. Katy Perry abused it, right? And that became like an instantly recognizable thing, and a lot of artists started copying it because they realized that it was almost like mind control in a way, right? So people do that, pop artists do that because they know it's going to work. They know it's not about being artistic, like we said. It's not about trying new things. They just know it's going to make money. And it's going to generate wealth, and that at the end of the day is what they're concerned about. So when you say stuff like, this artist came out, it's not really that great a song, but it's got millions and millions of hits and stuff, it's probably because they know the formula, they've cracked the code essentially. And even though it's not interesting or as profound as something like this, right, or In Rainbows or whatever, or something that's more imaginative, because it triggers something in our brains instantly. You even said yourself you like it. It's an earworm by the sounds of things. Right? And it works, and you like. Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought.
Let me bring this to you then, because I was going to ask this question, and I think there's probably two sides to this story. But do we expect way too much from musicians then? Because for me, my view is we don't get enough from musicians that deserve it. Because again, you're talking about this whole branding scenario where like you haven't got people like me and you on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, whatever. Sometimes you can struggle to brand yourself, especially if you can't afford to do it. Yeah. And I mean, like, I don't want to be that person that buys views or buys thing, but that's all branding. Yeah. Like, I mean, if you're paying for one video to go viral, I'd never do it. Yeah, no. I'd never ever do it. But there's people out there that do, and that's why they're as big as they are, and that's why they're seen, because they're putting millions and thousands of euro. Like, someone's putting thousands of euro into TikTok to have maybe 100,000 views in every video. But sure, we don't know if they're doing that or not. Yeah. We think they're going viral and they're great, and everyone sees 100,000 likes or 100,000 views in this video and they're like, oh fuck, they must be famous. Well, it's just a load of bullshit. But with artists, with music, I think in general is like, most musicians start off fucking broke, poor, shit poor. Yeah. So you have to try and grind to make yourself seen, at least even a little bit. With the amount of saturation that's in the charts, and the amount of saturation that's on Spotify, and the amount of fucking bullshit you have to go through, and artists you have to lick, good, and then the next thing you're there 10 years later and you're still busking on the street because you can't afford to you can't even afford to start do a gig, or no one really knows who you are because there's that much content on the it just seems never ending. What do you expect now? Sorry, I'm going to cut you off there, but what do you expect? Do we expect too much or too little? Should artists do less or should they do more?
It's a trade-off, isn't it? Like, that's what it is. It's not a one suits all. We can't really solve it, because at the end of the day, there's pros to it and there's cons to it, right? So the market's very oversaturated. That's absolutely true. You know what I mean? Like, we could find pretty much any type of band we wanted to if we just Googled it, or if we went on Spotify or whatever. But also, it's giving artists a lot of opportunities. You know, for example, making music now is so much cheaper. Like back in Bowie's day, for example, if you wanted to make a record or an album, the only way to do it would be working in a studio. You know what I mean? And studio time is expensive. Yeah. Like, I remember once I was speaking to this guy, I'm not going to name names, but he was a producer, and I was like, oh, I want you to produce my album. You know what I mean? Because this was back in university when I had an album I needed to release as part of my dissertation. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be X amount per song. And it was so expensive. And this guy's like a bedroom producer.
Yeah,
Like he hasn't got like a huge layout, but because he's good at his job, he was able to charge very, very expensive fees, right?
Yeah.
And in the end, when I did the maths, I was like, I can actually buy my own Mac with this same amount of money and Logic and just produce it myself and have the equipment forever. So why would I pay a studio producer?
Yeah.
And it's that mindset, right? Because, I mean, look at Billie Eilish, for example.
Yeah.
Like, her and Phineas, they made their albums in their bedroom. Like, so there is the cut-off where it's like, well, there's so much going on and there's so many things to look at. But also, it's opened up a lot of doors for people that would have never had the money to go into a place like Abbey Road or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
And so there is trade-offs to it. But the problem is you do need to cipher through a lot of bollocks to get something that's decent.
And I think that's the biggest thing for me there as well, because I kind of set this up for you to kind of fall back into the whole conversation we had there just a few minutes ago about Taylor Swift and that, because a part of me feels like when you're in situations like that, you have to brand.
Right.
You have no option now. Because if you're going to make it in the music industry and you want to make it, like me and you, for instance, again, we're going to bring this back up again, our intentions, we have the best intentions in the world.
Right, I think so.
The ideas we have and the goals we have, hopefully when they pay off, they'll pay off. But we're not going to be able to do that without branding our music or branding us on YouTube is what we're doing. I think the smart idea that we took was we wanted to do this reaction channel, but we're also going to create music, and then hopefully we'll have a fan base that will also like our music, as well as the fact that we're doing reactions and YouTube and like reviews and whatnot.
But stop you a bit, right? I think we're quite, I think we're quite modest in our expectations. I don't think we expect to be buying yachts.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
no.
I feel like
One yacht, maybe.
if we put our money together, yeah, share it. 2 mugs on a yacht. But I think we're quite modest with our expectations. I don't get this sense from you, and I definitely don't believe it myself. Right? Yeah. I don't want to have like a mansion.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I'd love to live in a 3-bedroom house. You know what I mean? And have a reasonable amount of money every month to live and enjoy my life, and maybe go on 1 or 2 holidays a year. That's my goal. You know what I mean?
Exactly like you. My dream for my future is to be financially stable in a world where financial stability doesn't seem like it's realistic.
Well, it's the same dream as everyone, right? Because everyone's got the idea of like, I want to be comfortable. Like, no one, I'm not, definitely. Yeah. I don't care about having the biggest, best TV in the world or having the biggest and best car in the world. I don't care about it. Like, I'm quite happy with having a decent TV, with having a nice sofa, with having a couple of pets, a nice house that hasn't got a swimming pool.
You
know what I mean? Like, I don't need a sauna to be satisfied. You know what I mean? Like,
I know money like.
But that's the difference between that, though, because you're talking about a brand now, right? You're talking about, these people, they have to brand, they have to do this, they have to, because they want to be Taylor.
But,
you know what I mean?
Maybe
I think that's different, because I think at some point, and like I said earlier, I think she was an artist. I think at one point in time, and we might even be the same. I touch wood, we don't. I don't think we will, but I believe at a time Taylor Swift would have had the same aspirations as us, where she would have been like, my dream is I want to make money with music. I want to have a partner who I'm content with, have a nice house, maybe a kid or 2. I don't know what her thing is with there, right? That's the dream. And then she got to a certain popularity, and then suddenly marketers were knocking on her door and saying, hang on a second, Taylor, do you know all this effort that you're putting in to make art? Okay, how about you get rid of that, okay, when we make you marketable? How about we make it so that we are churning out dollars as much as we possibly can to make you afford anything you ever can? This it's the same story about selling your soul to the devil. It's the same. It's the old story, right? It's like she's traded it, you know, and I believe that I wouldn't personally.
I see, like, money talks, doesn't it though? And that's the thing.
I've never tried. I've tried, but
it's hard.
Like, you know,
money puppets. If I had enough.
we were scrounging change to get some sausage rolls.
Oh my god, I had €5 in my fucking wallet.
So funny.
But yeah, look, like, we're skint, but like, again, look, if we're being realistic, money talks, and depends on the scenario. If someone came to us now in the next year or 2 and says, we'd like to support your channel, we'd like to give you the opportunity to really blow up, we'll get a certain proportion of it. Look, let's work together and we'll be able to hopefully make you money while we make money too. Conversations are had.
That's fine.
And then it gets to another level where this small business-minded managerial company or someone else comes in and says, look, we can offer you a lot more if you decide to come with us and we'll go this way about it. I understand completely. Me and you would sit there and we'd have a conversation and we'd say, I don't know if that's right for us.
Exactly.
And then they say 4 million, and I'd say absolutely. Absolutely. 4 million now, straight away, you can have it.
I'm not even in the show anymore.
I quit. No, but like,
replace me.
Yeah, but like, no, but like, again, money talks, and I don't know, and I don't want to say this because I don't know what I'd say if someone offered me €100 million to do something.
Right.
Like, a part of me thinks you'd be a fucking idiot to say no. But what does that give you? Is it just financial stability? Or is it everything you've ever dreamed of?
I think there's a difference between what you said originally, right? So what you said originally was like, if someone reaches out to you, let's say, for example, let's just say there was an advertisement, right? So maybe it was one of those ones that always goes on YouTube, like, like the games. DistroKid, something like that, yeah. They come up to us and they say, Jarvis, Darry, here's an advance. This is how much we're going to give you. And it's a reasonable amount. And we're like, oh, that's quite a lot. And we're like, do you know what? We could amp up the studio, we could put a bit of money and get some new chairs, we get some new headphones, some new mics, blah, 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 maybe even get ourselves a MacBook Pro, like all this stuff. Yeah, right? All this stuff, and that's great, okay? But then 3 years down the line, some other company turns around to us and says, oh, Jarvis and Darry, we're going to offer you that 16 times that, whatever, right? Okay, 5 to 16. Yeah, we got there. 5-6 times that, right? Okay, but as a trade-off, we want you to never do X album again or X artist again, and we don't want you to say certain things, and we also want you to blah 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 blah. Like, here's our rules, okay, and that goes against our principles, right?
I'd say no.
Then exactly, right?
I would say
good.
No.
Yeah,
and I mean that, and I can be bought. No.
Look at the camera when you say that.
I can be bought. No, genuinely, I cannot be bought. But if I agree with the philosophy and where they see our
but that's different.
Our future, I know.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, I would think about it. And that's just
think about
that's
it.
just like
everyone's
going
to think about it. Of course, I'd think about it.
Any brands watching, fucking give us a number, buddy.
Make us think about it.
I really would love to think about it right now.
Yeah.
How much have I got? Like 6 cents.
But no, like I think it would be weird if you said you wouldn't think about it. Obviously, you debate about it. You'd probably even talk to Grace about it, and she'd say do it. But like, would you come to the conclusion of doing it though? I don't think I would.
No, I don't think so.
If it was so much, like, I feel like we've had this conversation before about record deals, for example, where, like, I don't think I could trade in artistic integrity away. I don't think I could.
I don't think so either.
I think I just wouldn't have.
I'd do what you do. If you said no, I'd say no, and I was like, well, sure, I can't do anything with it, him. I'm a little bit stuck.
And they'll be like, well, hang on a second, we've got this guy in the studio called David Guetta, right?
Fuck off. I definitely say no.
But like, I think there's a certain point where a figure emerges, right? Okay, and they say, this is what we're offering you, but here's the trade-off, and the trade-off isn't you anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about with artistry, intention, integrity, ambition. That's what an artist is. I would consider us artists in this because I don't feel like we're, when we're doing this, I don't feel like we're trying to do something that I
think for us doing this now, and I think after this we're not resolving this,
okay, so
we're just going to leave it there,
okay.
But I think for us what we want is to do something we love, which is music, talk about music, live in the music scene, and earn money from doing it, and live a comfortable life. If I was making the same amount of money as I am at work now, I would happily do this for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
I'm not looking for financial gain. I'm looking for financial stability.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if it doesn't come from this, I think in any form of something, I think me and you will find a way. Yeah. I think if we see this reaction channel,
I can be bought.
Yeah. So who's watching? Pepsi, McDonald's, anybody? Fucking hell, we can't keep saying it. Anyway, I'm leaving that unresolved. We're not going to resolve it, so we might as well just probably
move on.
We'll head home. I think, we'll leave it at that, will we?
Yeah, we can do.
It was a good conversation.
It was a good conversation. Got a bit heated.
I wonder how long we've been sitting here.
It feels like an hour.
It doesn't feel like an hour. It feels like 20 minutes, but I feel like it was an hour. Anyway, lads, look, do follow along, subscribe to the channel, and go and follow the reaction channel. It's over in Two Mugs and the Guitar. I can't link in the description because YouTube doesn't like people that don't have subscribers. Yeah. So it's asking me to upload my ID, and I'm just too lazy.
Yeah.
So
also, what do you think an artist is? Tell us in the comments.
Oh, actually, we should have led with that.
Yeah, we should.
I might clip this in at the start.
Yeah. What do you think an artist is? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comment section because Jarvis is completely wrong as usual. Anyway, goodbye. Bye.
See you later.
Click that.